Good evening, everybody. Welcome on in. Hope everyone is doing well. It's Saturday night, and I am back for some more punishment here, I suppose. If we can call it like it is here, I would say, potentially. But welcome on in, everybody. Welcome. Apologies on the tardiness, my friends. But I had a power outage just as I was about to go live. I was all ready to go live around 8:30ish, and yeah, power just blinked out before I could hit the button. It was out for a couple of minutes, so yeah, I just wanted to make sure everything was solid, make sure the internet was solid and everything before I fired up after that. But yeah, here we are, my friends. Well, welcome on in, everybody. So yeah, we have a lot of refactoring to do. Further refactoring to so that's the wrong thing. Based on what we were doing last week, and yeah, I guess there's no like easy way to do it. It's just gotta jump in and do it here. So, but I hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're all healthy, happy, and all those things, and gotten a good start to the week, hopefully. Good start to the week. Good start to the weekend, I should say. And everything's going well. I don't know. Yeah, that's delayed reaction from my printer to go and test the toner cartridges after the power outage. Anyway, I don't know if you can hear that. It's pretty loud, but anyway. So we were getting down to doing the descriptor layout stuff here, getting that in there. Along with, let's goes in prior to the pipeline. Yeah. So we got all this stuff prior to the pipeline here to deal with. And let's see. Scripture set layouts. So, vertex uniform. Did I gotta put that in here? I do have it. Vertex uniform descriptor layout. Okay. So oh wait, I have that up here. Descriptor set layout. Projection matrix buffer. Okay. I just have this to do in the weird spot here. Up here. Because we gotta figure out what to do. I don't think the render path and stuff is good anymore, or the texture sampler still is. Texture sampler info. So we got the descriptor layout, projection buffer matrix. All right. Okay. Uniform descriptor layouts. Okay. And then we have copy matrix to buffer, which is a utility that they've put together. So have to see what this is. Copy matrix to buffer. Okay, so then do I have, let's see, my working utils. All right, we'll put that in here. So what does this take? Matrix offset. Okay. Copy matrix to buffer. What part of this does it need? VK buffer. Right, that's just map, which I have a version of that. So let's see. Let's see what that's supposed to take. So it doesn't have to take anything. Yeah, I don't know why they. What are they doing here? Oh, they're just getting the VK device. Yeah, I've already got, just kept the device in there when we create the Vulkan buffer. So you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I'm not sure why they're, yeah, I don't know why they're passing that in like that. It's really amateurish. Alright, so we got the buffer, matrix, and offsets. Okay. Requested size. So byte buffer. Until then byte buffer. Memory, and then buffer get requested size. Matrix gets. Right, offset. Matrix buffer. Buffer unmap. Okay. So it's creating a byte buffer. Or it's, well, it's allocating a byte buffer into, no, it's taking the passed in buffer, mapping it to memory, and then it's creating memory with enough size for it. And then we're calling matrix get offset. Let's see what it says over here. Store this matrix in column major order into the supplied byte buffer. Starting at the specified absolute buffer position index. This method will not increment the position of a given byte buffer. Okay. So this is just grabbing the stuff from the matrix that we pass in and just throwing it into memory. And then it's unmapping it. However, it's still, we still have a reference to it. I guess it's unmapping it from the shared. It's unmapping it from the GPU. I think that's what's going on. I think it's copying it from, I think it's copying it from the GPU to CPU, or vice versa. I think that's what's happening there. Okay. Okay. That brings us back to here. So we do through this. Taking the projection matrix buffer and taking the scene. So where does the engine context scene get projection? Get projection matrix. I don't. Where's that? I know they pass it in. So I need to pass scene in, I guess. Which I might have. Yeah, I have scene here. Oh, I am passing scene in. Or at least I was. Swap chain allocator swap chain pipeline allocator surface. Swap chain pipeline allocator surface. So we got, so after pipeline, just put the scene there. Okay, and then that. From that we get the projection and the projection matrix. Okay. And then 0 is the offset. And then for texture descriptor layout, wait, descriptor layout, okay, this is the wrong one. This is fragment stores descriptor layout. Set layout. And set layouts. what is this supposed to take? Layout info. Layout info. Type binding count. This is type storage buffer 01. Shader stage fragment bits. Okay. Fragment storage. All right. So I have that, and then we've got texture sampler info. So the correct texture sampler I did, does texture sampler info. Color opaque black. Untrue. Texture sampler. That's returning the texture sampler. Okay. So this is correct. Right after the fragment storage, descriptor layout. And then descriptor layout texture. Descriptor layouts. Set layouts. Device. Layout info. Okay, combined. Oops. Descriptor type. Combined image sampler. Zero. Max textures. Texture cache max textures. Do I? Texture cache. I'll put this here, but Don't know if I want this here. Textures, which I think I forgot to make it. No. VK shader. Shader stage fragment bits. Yep. Okay, texture descriptor layout. And then pipeline, which takes the descriptor layout texture, or descriptor layout now, create pipeline. So the render pass we don't need, and the create frame buffers we currently don't need. Oh, there's create pipeline. Right, so we got pipeline, pipeline cache, yeah, they've got a completely different create pipeline here. Text buffer. Buffer util create buffer info surface get surface formats shader modules vertex buffer struct. Depth format, BK format D16, okay. There's constant ranges. Shader stage, vertex bit 0. 4x4 int size. Fragment bits. Set layouts, set layouts, pipeline, clean up, return photo. Okay, I think I've got everything here. The only thing I haven't passed in is the list of stuff, right? So it's the text uniform descriptor layout, fragment storage descriptor layout. And then texture descriptor layouts. it's going through the shader modules and calling cleanup. Alright, so we don't need the swap chain image views stuff here. Looks like, and then we just have to go through shader program. Did I make cleanup just go through the whole thing? Yeah, shader modules for each. Yeah, S cleanup. Yep. Okay. Okay, so there's that. So what am I missing then? So create frame buffers. I don't need anymore. Looks like. This is one usage though. Oh, in resize, okay. And then we have resize there to worry about. Record command buffer. Apparently don't have any more. So I guess that was for the rendering pass stuff. That is in render, which I think is all changed now. Yeah, it's the next part of the thing we have to change. So I guess I just comment this out for now because I have a feeling it's still probably used, but not for that. Okay. So I guess I have to do the render thing here. Man, this is such a freaking mess. This is such a mess. render. The render. I don't have a render method in here right now. But this, I guess it's specific to the scene, so that's why they're doing it. I'm wondering if I hate to do it. Part of me is wondering if it just makes more sense to just go back to the chapter 4 changes, branch off of there, and then just pick up with chapter 5 of the book. See, there's no guarantee of even that's anywhere near what I'm looking for here, because that, I mean, it probably is, but the problem with that is there's so much code to change then. I have to pull over. Oh. Like, it'd be different if it wasn't. These chapters were not so freaking like thousands of lines of code. I could probably do that, but I'm kind of wondering if that would be the correct way to go about it. Because it's true, I can go through here and change these things. You know, like one file at a time, but I mean, I guess let me think. I mean, I can. guess it would be... I mean, there's no faster way to do this. I've been trying... the way I've been doing this refactoring is I've been trying to follow the path of execution. But really, it feels like I'm going to have to just... If I want to... If I want to be even partially sane by the end of this, I might have to just go file by file, top to bottom, and it's not it's equally as bad, right? Because it's just like, because I've made my own changes along the way. That makes sense. That's kind of why I was going through like in execution order, because then I can see what I have to tackle next. But the problem with that is that's getting really messy because there's so many different classes involved. This is not great. Not a great thing there. Anything else changed? Book samples was 3 weeks ago. Yeah, there's a couple things that have changed again throughout its 3 months. Yeah, so like chapter 1 through 4 haven't changed in 3 months. Everything else has had something change. You know, like 3 weeks ago. That was that one. Not too bad. Oh, I see. They do have a... They did make a legacy branch, at least. Which is what I was working with. Though I would rather use the 1.3 Vulkan functions. So I've already been using 1.4. Alright. Alright. We gotta do something here. I'm going back and forth in my head. Okay. Yeah, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to... uncommit what I've done here. Okay. So then I'm going to do then is we're going to look at get here. So here is finish chapter 4 of Vulcan Book. Okay. So from there, I am going to create a new branch. Updated yeah, Vulkan processes. I'll do that in chapter 4. Okay. So a new branch off the end of chapter 4 stuff. From that, I'm gonna cherry pick all the Dependabot changes. To our palms here. There's other Dependabot changes I haven't done yet as well. What we got here? 1-4 to 1-5. And I think that's it. Apply. What's the conflict here? 4 changes, 1 conflict. This is now resolved. Oh, I guess I gotta just say it's resolved. Okay. What else is wrong? Oh, Shooter C. Yeah, that's fine. And 23. Okay. 3 is correct. There we go. Should pick that one. Is that everything? I have no idea here. I think these aren't in here yet. Although they should be, because they're... No, I think these are okay. Yeah, these are the ones I just cherry picked on top of it, right? Okay. I think that's fine. So let's all right. Branched from start of chapter 5 to redo the new way of stuff. Oh. Never mind. Gotta just push all those. Okay, there we go. All right, so then over here, we go back to, let's close all tabs. And we go back to, well, first of all, I want to, let's get the latest. Three files update and 24 commits. Okay. Okay, so we have all the latest there now. So now we're going back to chapter 5, which really sucks, but it is what it is. Alright, so we got chapter 5 there, so then over here, redo a whole lot of stuff. Compare files though. Yeah, compare files. So I want to do. Is this doing the? Yeah, it is. So I'm going to do chapter 4 to chapter 5. Okay, and close this other one out. All right. So obviously the palm there, and then we have main. Right, so we got render.java. Has command buffer, command pool. So for all this stuff, okay. Yeah, the tricky part is that render is the big deal. Yeah, okay, so this is scene render's first iteration. Right, and then you got command buffers and stuff here. Alright, so I'm going to guess I should start with all of these. Pretty much. Yeah, we'll start with all these. Taking a big leap backwards, but it's what it has to be right now. Alright, so we'll start with command buffer and then command pool. Alright, because that uses stuff. Yeah, the biggest issue is going to be reintroducing all this stuff again, but oh well. I think this is when I had gone and put a lot of stuff in that structure util. I think so. Let's see what we got. No, I guess not. Device. There's command buffer. Yeah, I have a lot of the stuff still in here. So maybe I should redo... Yeah, let me redo my cleanup stuff first. My cleanup stuff. While we got a little far fewer things to deal with here. Let me see what this looks like over here. I don't think they have a base device queue anymore. Let's see. Yeah, they've got a queue. Oh, see, they got a queue, they got a graphics queue. So that's why I did the base device queue, right? So they still have the presentation queue and the graphics queue. And they have it all buried under this one class, which is just beyond annoying. Okay. Alright, so I'm not going to worry about that until... Because up to this point, we know... I'm pretty sure this works. Right? Which I think... Well, Chapter 4... By the end of Chapter 4, they didn't have anything working yet, right? No. Chapter 5 was the first chapter where we actually had something working. It's also the one where I had that problem that I had to debug. And I should probably look at that right now. Chapter 5. So base. SQ, I added this, submit, okay. what was the thing I fixed? There was something that was very wrong. It was this. Concurrent queues or something. Image views for each. Yeah, it was something like that, but this I believe comes in the next one, so I'm not gonna worry about that right now. But I mean, given that it's something I fixed before, the code's still there, so it's not disappeared or anything. So I can always look back through it, see what I did. But yeah, let's go through here. So we got the base device queue, which we'll get some things later. Logical device. Okay, so do utils. All right, so now, what was I? Dual device here. This, and this is device create info. Logical device pointer. That do static malloc pointer. Okay, it's just this part right now. Let me just make sure. Well, they have logical device, right? Oh, they're setting up all different things here too. They got like features too. One and three features. Oh, this is bad because that means I have to go back even further to. Oh, this is terrible. I'd have to go back even further, right? Or at the very least, bring the two into sync here. I mean, I guess it's a little bit easier to bring these into sync because there's not that much going on. Okay, so first of all, yeah. Create required extensions. So where do they have the create required extensions? It looks like they pulled these over. Subset extension name. Portability. Do I care? So I feel like I'm not even going to worry about the portability things because that's only turned on if you are on a Mac. Really, subset extension name. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother with that. So I think first of all, let's go. Required extensions. Okay, let's go extract this. Refactor. Extract method. What the hell? What the hell? This whole thing extracted as a method. What the frig is it doing? Good God, man. How is... I swear, like... I can highlight a whole block of text in Eclipse, say extract method, and it's beautiful. It does it right away. IntelliJ is supposed to be all awesome and great, and it can't even do it right. It doesn't know what the hell that means. Like, what the hell? Like, I want this whole thing as a method, not just like one part of it. Create. I guess it does have to be static because of how we're calling it. Create extensions. Yeah, you know what? I don't even need to make that static because I can just use the stuff that it has there. You know, and use portability. I'm just getting rid of that. So number of extensions is 1. Okay. Arrayless byte buffer. For extension in required extensions. So it's not doing a like pointer anymore. Now it's just doing stack.ascii. Okay. Oh, it is still doing it. Malloc pointer. Engines list.size. Oh. Why? For each required extensions, put oh, I see. Swap chain extension name. Okay, so here we were just kind of just doing the one, but there they're like, let's put it somewhere else. And I just have the one swap chain extension name. I mean, sure. That under physical device. Okay. I mean, that's fine, I guess. So under physical device here, we'll have a public static. We just do like a list, a set. Set string, right? VK, KHR, swap chain extension name, right? Okay. It's simple enough. So then down here. So back here we go. Okay. So physical device dot actually it's more like physical device that required extensions. Stream. That map. So, ASCII. Actually, I can just do, I don't know if I can I just do that? With a method reference, yeah, I thought so. And to list. Does that work? Non-static method. Yeah. I'm curious what it tries to change it to. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Because it's not static, yeah. Right, and then that goes to arrayless byte buffer. Alright, and then extensions lists. Required extensions. Stack malloc pointer. Yeah. Size. Art extensions. Extensions, but Alright, so we'll do extensions list. Require extensions put, and then require extensions flip. And return extensions. Okay, that actually is a lot cleaner than what they had there before, so I'm okay with that. Okay, require device extensions. So that goes in here. Right. Somewhere. Oh, here it is. Create required extensions. Things a lot nicer. Okay, and then enable all queue families. Do the get physical device features. Physical device Vulkan 13 features. Okay. So turn on the queue families now before they do device features. All right. So I'm gonna go. Want this in the same place? I don't know. Doing a lot with the features, a lot more with the features now. Features 2, device create info. Features 13. Huh. Okay. So all this is together with the create info. So then I want to put here VK device create info. info. So we want memory stack, and let's see what else we want to do here. So I want to do device. For VK physical device, Vulkan 1.4 feature. VK physical device, Vulkan 1.4 features. Dynamic rendering. No, they don't have dynamic rendering. They have dynamic rendering local read. Is that the same thing? Implementation supports local reads inside dynamic render of past instances using the command begin rendering command. So what does 1.3 say on that? Specifies the implementation supports dynamic render past instances using command. Okay, so they just named it differently. Okay, and then organization 2. This one sets the specified value to the synchronization 2 field. Thanks for that. I appreciate the insight on that. Does this not have? Okay. So what does 1.3 synchronization 2? Originally introduced as a KHR extension of 1.0, 1.3. VK physical device synchronization 2 feature struct. Set it to the pnext field. I see. Initialize a structure similar to VK physical device features. Once initialized, you should pass it to pnext, the V device. Create info. Okay. How about for 1.4? Because he does 1.2 and 1.3 here, but not 1.4. Synchronization 2. Pipeline barriers, events, image layer transitions, and queue submission. Blah, 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 blah. Surpass dependency. Still not telling me what it is in 1.4. 1.4. What is the name of it? Physical device Vulcan 1.4. KHR. I don't see it here anywhere. It's not there anywhere. Okay. That's not helping me. That's not helping me at all. What is it? Device. 1 for features. Okay. That's the 1-4. So how about the 1-1-3? Okay. Simulation 2. Where the implementation supports a new set of synchronization commands introduced in VK HR Synchronization 2. Okay. Let's see another reference to it here. Simplify the interface, improve usability, pipeline stage access flag types. Okay. So how does this KHR synchronization examples? Transfer dependencies. Okay, so, but is that... It doesn't make any... If I do this... showing up there? I don't know. It's not helping. Maybe I should just do Vulcan 1.3. Go away. Let me see. General release drivers. Series, 30 series. So 1.4 actually goes. Okay. This is the beta driver though. What was this? $581.58. See, maybe 1.4 has not been out long enough. Maybe I should just do 1.3 like the book has. Alright, that's fine. Because it's gonna... There's things here that are just kind of missing. That I don't know if they're missing because they're just part of the spec now. You don't have to do it or what. So I think we're gonna go with 1.3 like they have. Which means I gotta change a lot of stuff, but it's not that bad. Here. What am I doing there? Physical device features 2. Stack. Default. All right, and then device create info. All right, so then we just return okay device create info. To address, enable extension names. So we gotta go required extensions. Where's that? There. Okay. Enter buffer extensions. And then PQ create infos. Queue creation info buffer. Okay. Nice queue create info. Enable all queue families. So really I can put all that in here then, right? Because these are just local variables that are not going to be hanging around. So why I did that. So I need the physical device. Device. And create info. Okay, so we have the physical device in there, so then let's see. Hey, Dev with me. Welcome on in. How you doing? Getting the Q family properties. Capacity. Yeah, I'm using an online book to try to figure out how to do Vulkan driver programming for game development. So trying to make an engine, and trying to learn how to do it. it's pretty involved. Let's put it that way. You start Unreal Engine as well? Cool. Nice. Yeah, I was I debated looking at like Unreal Engine and looking at Godot. And honestly, I just kind of wanted to, I might eventually learn them, but I write code for a living and I kind of just enjoy writing code. So I thought, it'd be really great if I just kind of tried to figure out how the engines work under the covers by making one. So here I am, several months into it, and not getting very much, not having much to show for it, but it's a long process. So what are you working on in Unreal? No, I haven't done any game dev before this. No, my day job is full stack development on the internet. So both web pages and all the plumbing behind the scenes and databases and all that stuff for various companies. So yeah, this is completely out of my wheelhouse. That being said, back in college when I was writing in C, I did do a little bit of OpenGL stuff, and I have a little bit of OpenGL stuff in this engine. But this is my first time like really digging into any kind of like any Vulkan or really doing any kind of game engine of any kind. Yeah. So nope, just first time jumping on in. Start like 3 days ago. Working on learning. Yeah, just make the player enemy and stuff. Start like 3 days ago. Yep. Yeah, I mean that's that's the nice thing about the modern engines. You can kind of just, if you have an idea for what you want to do, you can just kind of jump right on in. I have a vague idea of the kind of game that I want to make, but honestly, it's the nuts and bolts that interest me right now more than anything else. So yeah, but that's good. So I've been going on this, I've been working on this for about, I'd say like 6 months now, off and on, but like once a week, twice a week sometimes, not every day. And been streaming it the whole way, pretty much. And my idea is just to have some kind of space game, but I haven't really gone much beyond that. I bought a model of a spaceship, and I was using that in my OpenGL code was able to spin it on the screen. And I'm trying to get back to that point with the Vulkan stuff. So really just very, very early stages. Yeah. So, well, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, most of the time I'm streaming just playing games, not actually creating the engine. Because since I work during the week, it's hard to code all day and then come home and code some more. So it's that's then code some more at nighttime. So that's why I'm kind of like, I just try to keep it to like 2 days, a couple hours each week. So hey Tech, welcome on in. So I had to start making a game, get to multiplayer open world, crafting more. We're gonna set up the HUD and UI stuff there. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Be interested to see what you come up with there, with all that stuff, Tech. Stop streaming and stuff and just going all out on it. Yeah, I mean when inspiration strikes, it's like you might as well embrace it, right? And just roll with it. No, Dev, I am streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Moonbeam. That's where I'm streaming right now. So, I don't. Unfortunately, Twitch doesn't let me show the chats from the other streams, so I turned that off. But yeah. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I don't have much of an idea as to what I ultimately want to do, because it's like, to me, that's so far down the path right now. I'm like entirely focused on just trying to get the foundations here and learn how the foundations work. Yeah. Yesterday, you were testing dedicated server, and a hosted server had 3 connections going at the same time, testing out replication, making security so people can't cheat. There you go. Yep. If you have a PC, you should add alerts, like following alerts in OBS. I do have them. I have Mix It Up Bot running. Unfortunately, for some reason, it's hit or miss as to whether or not it'll actually put anything on screen. It's like sometimes it actually shows on screen, sometimes it doesn't. It's very weird. I was here and there trying to write my own bot for stuff, and I got a decent far along on it. But yeah, Mix It Up just kind of, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. It drives me nuts. But yeah, I do have that on, and I have the Twitch activity feed up too, so I see follows and stuff there as well. I don't usually, my policy for following is I don't usually call anyone out for follow, or like thank anybody for following, unless they've actually chatted in the chat, because a lot of people like to lurk, and so I don't want to call out any lurkers just because they followed. So if someone just follows and they haven't said anything in chat, I usually don't say anything because I don't want them to feel weird. But if someone chats and then they follow, then that's different. So, and yes, thank you for that follow as well. Yeah, I just kind of, for that, I try to like be a little bit cognizant of, because I lurk all the time on other people's streams, and it's sometimes you just don't want, like, sometimes you just want to be hidden. You just want to listen, Can I see your game? Or is that how? I don't have much to show for what I've done, unfortunately. I do have. I have an OpenGL version of it running, but right now nothing's going to compile because I'm in the middle of writing stuff. So unfortunately, I can't really run it at the moment. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe I can. Let me see something here. Just out of curiosity. What's the other error? This one? Let's see what I got. Let's save that. Do I still have an error? Oh, missing return statement. Okay. What's going on here? I think this will work. Can I run OpenGL? Oh, I see what happened. That's what's going on there. Let's try that again. Yeah, unfortunately, it's been called unsafe, unable to live on. Oh, okay. It's I think some of the paths are messed up right now. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have it. It's not working at the moment. But I did at one point have the have the OpenGL one being able to render. What am I working on now? I am in the throes of. So what happened was I've been following this book online, trying to implement Vulkan using the LWJGL library, and what happened was I was as far as chapter 8, and I was in the middle of doing chapter 8 stuff, and they restructured their book. They completely changed the way they do things, and they updated it for a newer version of Vulkan. And I was trying to kind of merge the two things together, and it wasn't working out. So I've jumped back several months to the beginning of chapter 5, worked off my code from there, and I'm redoing chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8 with their newly updated way that they're doing things, because they changed a lot under the covers. So I'm looking at their not only the book that's online, but also their samples, their example code and stuff, which I have downloaded over here. That's their code on the right hand side. And then I'm just kind of taking that and I'm writing it myself, and writing it the way that I, would want to write it, sort of. So I'm moving things around here and there, but also trying to keep it common. So right now it's like very, very basic stuff. Their chapter 5 was basically creating a window with a blank screen. So that's where I'm back to. I was this close to getting a model loaded and rendered, but I have to jump all the way back to just the basics again. How did I add music in the background? I'm just playing Winamp right now. I've got Winamp pointed at OC Remix Radio, which is this guy here. And OC Remix is all kinds of remixes of video game music that people have submitted. And so like right now we got something from Descent 2. And so I'm just running, so that's all that's playing in the background. It's not anything with the engine or anything like that. Doesn't say you're live on YouTube. I should be. If you go to memoryleakdeath.tv/live, that'll take you there. I have a regular YouTube, which is just videos I upload, and I have a live YouTube channel that's just my live streams. Maybe a few more weekends, or maybe something to show. First chapter was on setting up basic player controls and getting the player to run, walk, crouch, and more. Yep, yeah. I mean, that's the advantage of having an engine already done. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I hope that's up. Yeah. Yeah, it's up. So there we go. What do I have here? Create info. Oh, I got this. Queue properties. I wonder why they're putting. They're only using it once. Having blueprints to use, make stuff. Yeah, yeah. I mean that's. I mean it's optimized for like seeing stuff happen right away, which is really cool. The thing I liked about a lot about the Godot engine is that the editor and stuff is written in the engine. So basically, you can pop in and out of your game like right away without too much craziness. UE5 start set. It lets you test stuff as you make it too. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know UE5 had the ability to load while the editor was open and stuff. It didn't have to go through a compile step. I mean, I guess technically you still go through a compile step, but it's probably pretty quick. Using it, I guess they're using it twice. Oh, I see why they're getting. Okay. I see why they made brought the whole buffer out. Okay. Can run a dedicated server setup and full test. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering what the wondering how the Amazon Lumberyard and stuff, I guess, probably does a very similar thing too. With a good PC, you can do all that without too much issue. Yeah. Yeah, that's the hard part. Hey, Raw Dev, welcome on in. Yeah, most do. Okay. Yeah, I had a thought at some point that I would probably tackle multiplayer, but only co-op. You know, I don't think I would ever tackle PvP or anything like that, because that just gets to be a pain in the butt. You know, co-op at minute. Yeah, I would probably stop at co-op myself, just because the problem with PvP is you sort of have to balance it for both PvP and co-op. You have to balance it for like single versus multiplayer, and all that stuff. And then it's a never-ending battle with like cheaters and stuff like that. Whereas co-op, like, somebody cheats, who cares, right? It's co-op. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you might as well just let them go. The only reason you're doing dedicated is it's only a bit more than hosted. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I would imagine the dedicated would give you a little bit more portability too. Take and add up the player's total level and do some math and use it to spawn an NPC at a level that would fit. Yeah, I was one of the interesting things that I saw with Borderlands 4 was that they scaled. How do they do it? They kind of scaled both up and down for the players. So like if you had two players that were at vastly different levels, it would, the player at the lower level would see the enemies at their level, and the player at the higher level would see the enemies at their level. But as far as either were concerned, they were doing enough damage to still, like, the lower player's damage was getting scaled to the higher player's damage, and the higher player's damage was getting scaled to the lower player's damage, and it all looked correct somehow on each thing. It was I'd be interested to see a post-mortem on what that was about, or if it was just kind of a visual thing that they were doing and not really a, you know, not some other kind of math thing. Yeah. They did it based on one nearest to them. They had a more complex setup. Just had a radius and set off the detected nearest player level. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's kind of like, yeah. Yeah, one way or the other, it's, I mean, it's also, like Star Trek Online and stuff does a thing where the enemies, like, everything scales down to like the lowest player. So like if a player comes in, I think that's how it happens. I think they scale down to the lowest player. So if you're like, say 3 levels lower than the highest player, then all the enemies are 3 levels lower. However, you're doing less damage than you would normally be doing if the enemies were at your level somehow. It's like you go in. It's like every player goes into the instance and it'll say, okay, you're level 21, but you're playing at level 17. And so it's like you're scaled downward to try to make everything equal across, which is kind of, I don't know how much I like that system, but that's another way that I've seen it done. Not sure how it would work with both of us hitting the same. We set an average this way. It's higher than the low, but still lower than the highest. Yeah, I would think something like that would work. If not an average, you could do like the median between the two damage outputs kind of thing. But yeah, it gets even more complicated when you have like temporary buffs and different other things coming in. Like if you have to take into account like shields or armor or cover or all kinds of other things. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's one of those things that there's not necessarily a right way to do it. And there's not necessarily a wrong way to do it. It's just whatever ultimately ends up being fun, you know. Plan to set up dedicated for co-op, not for MMO. Yeah. I mean that makes sense to do a dedicated for the co-op because um, then you can, you know, if you were doing something like releasing it on Steam or something like that, you could probably use the Steam connection stuff. I guess I don't even know. I haven't even looked at what that entails, but yeah, I mean you'd still have one person potentially, you know, hosting it, or at least, you know, either hosting it on their own machines or hosting it on an actual box or something, and then you have the others kind of connecting to it. Yeah. Streamer could host his own setup and play with friends, being controlled. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. What am I doing here? So, queue properties. Capacity, and then what are they doing? They're doing a queue create info. Spaceport 2 had do co-op, how much fun people would have with it. Sure. You know, I've never been against co-op stuff. Um, as long as it doesn't, as long as you can still single player your way through things. Like that's the way I've always looked at it. Is like if I can still solo the game, and co-op is just kind of an optional bonus, then that's great. It's just there tend to be some games now where it's like you're kind of required to do co-op for things, where it's like balanced towards the co-op, and you have to like you can do them solo, but you're gonna suffer greatly. Like a good example is Jump Space. I love that game, but man, soloing that game is pretty rough. And they give you a bot to do it to help, but you know, it's still usually not enough. Especially with how long the missions can be. Deep Rock Galactic is another one where I love that game to death, but even with the bot helping you, soloing is just pain sometimes. You know, and that's all well and good, but I always like to have the option of being like, I just want to solo this, or I want to, or maybe I want to do both. Maybe I want to solo it one day and then open it up and co-op it another day. You know, just for me personally, that's how I've always felt about it. because that way you're not like having to structure your game playing around someone else's schedule, right? You can just kind of like, you feel like playing it, you play it. You make progress, you make progress. It just continues to carry on. You know, instead of having to have like one game that, you know, a solo character versus a co-op character and all that, you know. All right. That's where the part said we're average. If there's only one, it would still be the same number. This way it would work great. Say level 21 divided by 1 is the 20. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. Yeah. All right. I know I haven't been streaming very long tonight, but I'm already feeling my brain wanting to give up, which kind of sucks. Like I said, I was gonna start a little bit earlier, and then I had a power outage, so couldn't do that. Yeah, it's also you know, it doesn't help that it's a little bit frustrating that I'm having to kind of redo a bunch of chapters here, but is the way that goes. I'd like to say that I can spend some time on this off camera and do stuff, but honestly, I just trying to find the time off camera to just sit down and just blaze through some of this stuff is very difficult. Yeah, you wanted to complete this chapter today, but I'm halfway. Go by my oldest son. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's hard to get into the mindset after doing a week of other coding. It's just weird. It's weird for me. Like, I love coding, but sometimes it's just like you do so much of it during the week that you're just like, I don't want to look at anything right now. Streaming, you get nothing done. Yeah, I could probably get. I mean, I've gotten some stuff done on stream, and I've been able to focus and stuff. It's not that doesn't really get to me too much. It's just I think the problem that I'm running into, and this is a problem I run into at work as well, and I've been trying different techniques, but basically I have like a usable amount of time that I can get in the zone, and then I have to kind of back out of the zone and just kind of veg for a little bit and then get back into the zone, right? I've had you talking on so much. Yeah, no, but I mean, it's still like it's, you know, while I'm talking, I'm still thinking about what I'm doing next here and all that stuff. It's not, you know, even though the code's not magically writing itself. But yeah, it's and that's kind of my thing, is like I've been there's some programs like there's some programs on Steam and stuff where you can do like that help with like co-working, where you can they give you timers, and it's like a 45-minute timer, and you get like a 20-minute or 10-minute break, and then 45 minutes on and 10 minutes off kind of thing. And I've been kind of using those a bit to just kind of like have like a 45-minute spot where I'm just totally locked in, then take a break, go do stuff, come back, and then try to do another 45 minutes and that kind of thing. And I'm finding that that's helping a little bit with the day job. So I'm kind of thinking that I might need a little bit of that with this too at some point. But I don't want to do that on stream. I'd rather do that, because if I'm streaming, I want to be making sure I'm not getting so into the weeds here that I don't see chat going by and all that stuff. So there's that. But yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop here for right now. I know I've barely gotten into it, but it's kind of what I got to do. I think, get that done. I'll try to integrate all this stuff. I need to change over to Vulkan 1.3. Because a lot of this stuff seems to want 1.3 stuff, so I'll do that. Which again shouldn't be too big a deal. Go to Vulkan 1.3, and that will give me a little bit broader support too, I think. And yeah, all right. So I'll do that next week, hopefully. But yeah, starting. So tomorrow night, normally I would be doing. I still think you should just go use Godot. Yeah, but I don't really. I mean, sure, but it have much more fun. But I am having fun. It's my problem right now is I just don't have anything to show for it. You know what I mean? And I don't have any real idea for a game anyway. I just have a vague notion. So I'd rather enjoy the building of the foundations here. The only thing I'm not enjoying about this is that I'm using a book that is not written well. That's the real problem. But if I can finally get some of this stuff to click in my head, it'll go a lot nicer. But yeah. And yeah, getting over that initial hurdle of showing something on screen would be real nice too. But we'll get there. Start simple, get an open world, and add what you think. Yeah, but again, I don't. That's not actually all that fun to me. Because the whole time I'll be doing stuff in Godot, I'll be thinking, man, I would rather just be writing code right now. instead of clicking buttons and all that stuff. I don't know. Overworld and space start. We're on a planet. Yeah. I mean, the other part of that too is there's a lot of I still have to go through all those tutorials about Blender and all that stuff. I haven't done any of that yet. You know, I know Godot is code based, but it's not real code. It's real code. I'm being facetious. It is real code, but it's not. You're writing code against something that's a foundation that's already set in stone, sort of. And I don't know. You say that until you try it. No, I've been watching streamers working in Godot and stuff. Like I have an idea of what goes on there. But again, I'm playing in someone else's sandbox, and I want to build the sandbox because I want to understand what I'm doing. You know, you could change the engine and more add things you want. Yeah, but that's no different from my day job at that point, right? My day jobs have always been, all right, go work for this company. They already have a system in place that's been going for a decade or more. Now rewrite everything so that it's not so ancient and bad. You know, that's like, one of these days I just want to start with a clean slate and just like, you know, do it the way I want to do it from the beginning. You know, I'm kind of, after a while you get a little bit tired of changing the tires on the bus while it's traveling 60 miles an hour down the highway. As you, I would just play games. Why repeat? But it's the way that I see it is that I'm learning something, and that's the fun of it, is that I'm learning something. In work, I'm not. I mean, technically, I'm learning stuff in work here and there, but it's not. It's not the same. I'm using a lot of stuff that I already know, and I don't have. At work, I don't necessarily have the flexibility to do things, to use new and flashy stuff. Like, I have to be very cognizant of the fact that, you know, it's a multi-million-dollar system and it needs to work at the end of the day, and I have to be cautious about how bleeding edge we go, and security and all that stuff. And now they're just pushing the hell out of this AI bullshit, and I have to deal with that. And you know, this stuff is nice from the perspective of I can just kind of I'm not under any pressure to get anything done, and I can just kind of take my time and just try out some stuff, you know, see what I want to work with, what I don't want, you know, make my own decisions about how it should be architected and all that stuff, and not be necessarily dealing with someone else's architecture. I mean, I'm dealing with someone else's, you know, samples that they've written in a book, but once I've gotten the fundamentals down, I can go off the reservation and make stuff the way that I think it should look, you know? There's a lot more flexibility, so. You start NBC AI after next year. Oh yeah, that's the correct AI. NPC AI is the correct AI. I'm talking about the large language model nonsense that is just a big giant mistake that is going to cause a lot of companies to go belly up once that bubble bursts. It's one thing with your work, fix stuff. We have no clue what we're doing, but we're still fixing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, I plan on will act more human than some player complex. Yeah, but it's still likely going to be a state machine at the end of the day, right? I mean, that's the AI in pretty much most games, if not all games, is just a giant state machine. If you're doing this, then do that. If you're doing this, then do that. You know, if you're flying to the left and a timer fires off, fly to the right and try to zigzag. You know, an interesting one was the manuals for like Wing Commander. In the manuals for Wing Commander, they would show you like how the like different maneuvers that like the Karafi would do and stuff, and you know how they would try to get on your tail and all that stuff. And yeah, it's kind of the same deal there. Not how these are. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Because at the end of the day, it's uses detection of what's going on around it, then does a number value, then does more stuff. Yeah, but I mean that's generally speaking, that's a state machine at the end of the day, right? You know, if you know your AI state would be in like state scanning or something, and it's just kind of looking at what's going on around it, and then after a few cycles it switches to another state to say, oh, based on what I've seen around me, I'm now in state firing, or I'm in state targeting, or something like that. You know, at the end of the day, it all comes down to like, if this then that, essentially. And you know, you could bring in probabilities into it, and try to make a little bit of a random or more probabilistic random assortment of things that the AI can do to varying degrees. But it all comes down to how many cycles of budget you have for the AI, which also comes down to how much is on the screen at any given time. Right. So, because I know, like, back in the DOS days, they would do. If they had a lot of computer-controlled stuff on the screen, they would do a lot of swarming behavior, where there'd be like a lead ship, and that lead ship would determine what the next move is, and all the other ships behind it would only follow in formation. And in that way, it kind of cut the budget down for how much processing had to be done for the AI versus all the graphics and stuff. So, this new stuff learns and records and gets better the more it does and the longer it runs. Mm-hmm. Hiding and dodging arrows and more, chaining weapons based on all the yeah, there's variations on it. Having a limited memory for what the AI can do and all that stuff. Yeah, that's all. That's all doable. Again, that's offline sort of logic that it's going through, and maybe some randomness in there, so it doesn't look so it's not too predictable. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's basically every game. Every game does that, pretty much. In fact, I'd say 99% do it. I can't think of one that does anything beyond that. I mean, I guess you could go to the old chess simulators that would do run all kinds of that would have like a genetic algorithm going in there, that would then learn with each game that it played. But that is like I tried to do like genetic algorithm and stuff back in college, and it was it went way over my head. Because that's where you take like the output from your last game is fed in as input to the next game, but it's also it tries to model it using generations of the algorithm. So the algorithm basically has like the best performing versions of the algorithm combined together and spawn off children, which all have bits and pieces of the half and half of the first two, but with mutations along the way, so they do slightly differently. And then the best of those combine and goes off into the third generation and fourth generation and so on and so forth, all the while taking the best of the generation and then moving on to the next. It was in concept it was straightforward, but in implementation I never quite figured out how to get an algorithm to work that way. But that's like the old chess simulators and stuff. I think all pretty much do that at some level, when they're learning from the user how to do things. All right. Well, I think that will do it for me. Yeah, so tomorrow night I would normally be doing No Man's Sky, but we've got a bunch of demos that come out early, and then next week, I think Monday, starts the Steam Next Fest. So I'm probably going to be playing demos all next week. There is one I was playing today that is fairly interesting. That I don't remember the name of it, but it's you're basically a robot, and it's a sandbox crafting game. But it's you're like trying to rebuild things, which was kind of interesting. So I'll probably start off with that tomorrow, and then we'll take it from there. There's a couple more to take a look at, and see what we can do. So, yeah, that'll do it then for me for tonight. If you happen to run across this on the YouTubes, and you have a like and or a subscribe that you can toss my way, that would be swell and awesome, and it helps out tremendously. Otherwise, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope everyone has an excellent morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what it is for you. and hope to see you back here again in the future for some more stuff. Whatever suits your fancy. Until then, see you, bye.
This is the way.